The year is 2021. An armed militia takes over the United States government and bans all forms of degeneracy, including anime. Prolific game designer Gabe Newell is put on trial for selling the game Doki Doki Literature Club on its online Steam store. He's quickly found guilty of anime distribution, and the judge warns him that while it may not be a long time, it will be a hard time. It's midday when Gabe arrives at the prison. He is given his number, N17, and sent to his cell block. Once there, he is confronted by his neighbour, known on the inside as King Sin, who brags about his brutal vandalism of the Portal Steam page, and then attacks the defenseless Newell. As he attempts to escape, he accidentally runs into Sin's prison lover, Frank Mathers, another brutal criminal charged with 17 counts of bombing anime conventions. Gabe is chased out of the block by the cleaver-wielding Mathers. Gabe decides that his only hope of survival is to get stronger and to forge his own katana. He heads to the yard, where he lifts some weights, and into the library to spend some time studying the blade. Unfortunately, he is too weak to forge the glorious Nippon steel, and tries to smuggle a screwdriver out of the workshop instead. He is quickly apprehended by the guards and sent back to court to await further sentencing. Gabe attempts to defend himself by claiming that he was simply trying to return the forbidden item, but will the judge buy it? Shockingly, he does, and Gabe Newell gets away with it. In this shocking behind-the-scenes footage obtained by the network, we can clearly see Gabe bribing the judge of CSGO skins. Justice in America is truly dead.
What's this, man?
He returns to a prison in chaos. Recent budget cuts have forced the guards to fight over the few weapons available. In this scuffle, Gabe is struck by a stray bullet. He is then approached by a balding African American who recognizes Gabe as an anime fan and tells him that he himself is a child abuser. Those on the bottom rungs of the prison ladder must stick together to survive. As the violence continues, more people are injured, and an innocent prisoner known as Duke Nukem is thrown to the ground and killed. His friends' attempt to clean up his body proves futile. But then, the gun lands at Gabe's feet. Now is his time for revenge, to make everyone in the prison pay for his mistreatment. He refuses to give it up, and the guards quickly swarm him and send him back to court. Surely, this time he will face justice for his actions. But the corruption of the legal system once again becomes clear. Gaben is found innocent of all crimes. As he returns to his cell block, he discovers something interesting. Frank Mathers has left his trusty meat cleaver unattended and looks to be injured. This is the perfect opportunity for revenge. He brutally attacks Frank while his lover, King Sin, lies sleeping a few feet away. The fight does not go well for Gabe, and he is thrown through the bed. The guard then gets involved and knocks them both out. Newell retreats to his cell, where he spends a sleepless night, listening to the wails of his fellow inmates. He has just finished his first day in prison. Gabe wakes to the sounds of Frank and Sin having a domestic. Frank likes the direction that Assassin's Creed Origins took the series in. Sin disagrees. Things quickly get bloody. Gaben watches, but decides not to get involved. But then, he is attacked from behind by another prisoner. He manages to escape, and decides to go take a shower to relax. When he gets to the bathroom, he finds another prisoner already there. The other prisoner informs him that a lot of shady stuff happens in the bathroom, and that the wardens won't help him, a clear threat to his virgin anus. Gabe reacts quickly, punching and kicking the assailant in order to protect himself from unwarranted advances. In a scene reminiscent of 13 Reasons Why, Gaben picks up a broom and disfigures the man. He continues to beat him until finally the assailant falls on the floor and does not get up. Prison has just transformed the mild-mannered Gabe Newell into a killer. He quickly disposes of the body and then takes some time to think about what he's done. Word travels fast within the walls, and he is quickly thanked for killing Brother Bear. Another prisoner is unimpressed, however, and insults Gabe for only having $5 to his name. Newell decides to make some money by working in the prison cafeteria, but he is not intelligent enough to prepare the food. He then tries to use the computer to look up jobs within the prison, but unfortunately, he is not intelligent enough to use it. Thankfully, there are always opportunities to make money in prison for people who are not afraid to take risks. Gaben delivers the meat cleaver and makes a tidy profit of $100. Happy with his payment, he heads to the cafeteria for lunch. Once there, he proceeds to eat every single meal he can find, making himself very unpopular with the other prisoners. Later in the day, he decides to take a break and watch some TV, but is then confronted by a white supremacist who hates white people. Gabe retreats to the hospital. As he enters the hospital, he is struck by a broom, wielded by Mathers, who was lying in wait. Gaben shoots up on heroin as he watches the guards subdue the crazed prisoner. Frank falls, and Gabe spots his chance. He rushes forward to grab the broom and is again threatened. In the confusion, he accidentally strikes an officer and is once again sent to court. Obviously, he gets away with it again. He returns to his block, a broken man, relying on drugs and alcohol in order to cling on to his last shred of sanity. He sees that King Sin has some heroin and desperately tries to take it from him. Finally, he succeeds, but the guard intervenes. He goes to bed, defeated. But it's not over yet. Gabe wakes at 1 AM and decides to take revenge on his tormentors. He attacks King Sin again, but is chased off by the guard and goes to bed for the rest of the night. Nope, Gabe returns angrier than ever and continues his assault on the prisoners of cell N16. Again he is defeated, and again he retreats. But he's not done yet. He runs back in and attacks a 4th time, scarring Mathers for life. Sin pretends to sleep, wanting no further part in the violence. Finally, the guard puts a stop to everything and sends Gabe to court, where, once again, he gets away with everything.
You can't keep getting away with it!
Understandably, the guard isn't happy with what happened in the courtroom and demands that Gabe hands over some money for protection. Defeated, he agrees, and the guard leaves him alone. On the way back to his cell, he's stopped by his child abuser friend, who lets him know that he's got his back. Frank and Sin are starting to make enemies within the prison. He heads to the canteen for lunch, where he's confronted by a prisoner who asked him when Half-Life 3 is coming out.
Episode 3, what do we know about it? What can you tell us? Are you still even working on Half-Life 2 Episode 3?
This sends Gabe into an autistic rage, and he accidentally triggers a riot. As he tries to find his next target, he has a heart attack and collapses. No one present is able to save him. And so, Gabe Newell dies alone in prison, only 2 days into his sentence.